Hello, my loves. I want to talk about something that happened to me yesterday and something that's been coming up quite frequently. Yesterday, I posted on my Facebook a very intimate and vulnerable post about how I was feeling energetically in that moment and what I was processing and how I was working through it. And that's not something that's new for me. I am somebody who's known for my transparency. I show you the good, the bad, and the funky because I feel like that is the most integral and authentic thing that I can do. And I'm not someone who is new to having naysayers or people coming in trying to fix me or judge me. It doesn't happen as frequent as it used to, but it still happens. Well, it happened yesterday. And this was another person in the healing arts world. I'm not sure exactly what she did. I honestly didn't know who she was. Apparently, we were friends on Facebook. And this woman came in and she put her 2 cents, her belief system onto what I was saying. And she was stuck on one sentence in this like 6 paragraph post, right? And she obviously was triggered by that one sentence and it triggered her to comment, which is fine. And I just had a very calm, open discussion back to her, which only made it worse. And then she kept going and kept going. And eventually, basically, told me that I am unhealed and broken and should not be helping other people, and that I'm the problem with the coaching industry or the mediumship or whatever you channelers, all of that. And I was like, wow, like I have never met a healed person who criticized and judged, especially one that doesn't know me. Like, you don't have my phone number. You don't know anything about me. You've never met me. You've never read any of my books. You don't know my story. And so I just said, listen, obviously, we are not on the same wavelength. We're not on the same frequency. So, how about you just unfollow me or unfriend me and we'll just go about our lives? Like, I wish you the best. But the thing that she kept coming back to was that she is healed. And that if you have any kind of triggers, you are not healed. And therefore, you should not be helping other people. And I have a real problem with that. I feel like that is what's wrong with the world today. And here's the thing that trips people up on this journey, they think it's one way or another. And while I agree with her that we are all already healed and whole because we are, it doesn't mean that you still won't experience triggers. I still get triggered. Is it all the time? No. Is it on a daily basis? Sometimes. But the triggers, when I do get triggered, rarely ever slow me down or derail me because of the work that I do, the work that I teach, the process that I take people through. I know that a trigger, and I did a reel about this today that I'll be putting up at some point. A trigger is just a tripwire. It's just a tripwire. It's when you hit that tripwire, it's showing you, signaling to you where in your body that there is a belief that is slowing you, stopping you, or tripping you up, causing you to fall down temporarily. And when you understand a trigger in that way, you can actually begin to get excited when you do get triggered. Not that it makes it any less uncomfortable because it really doesn't, but it always reminds me I'm getting really close. And as I find these triggers, these are the things that are slowing my manifestation down, slowing or stopping me from fully being able to hold the amount of light and frequency that I need to hold to have the thing that I'm wanting to have. You have to clear the density to make space for the frequency that you need to be holding inside of your being to manifest whatever it is you're desiring, because you can't manifest what you are not. You only ever manifest who you are, and who you are is a state of being. It's not a label, it's not an identity. And so every time you do have a trigger, it gives you an opportunity to alchemize that density into light. And we do that at the most minimalist level just by allowing ourselves to accept where we are and how we feel. It gives us an opportunity to have love, unconditional love and acceptance for that version of us that utilized whatever they did, whatever that belief is, to keep them safe when they were in survival. But it's a choice to make whether we want to bring that story into the new circumstances. Or are we going to reframe it? Are we going to feel it and then say, yes, that is a story that happened in the past, but I'm not the same version of me. I'm not. And I can choose to believe something different. I can choose to respond differently. I can choose a different behavior. I can choose a new meaning. And in that process, transmute that density into lightness and be able to hold the faith in that space, in that emptiness of what was. I'm allowed to sit in that emptiness and know that this is the space I've made for the frequency that I need to hold in order to project a new reality out. It's not that you're never triggered again. And the other thing that I think that trips people up is we are not just duality. It's not duality, it's a trinity, meaning that there's always light and dark and the space between. And anytime we're moving anything from one to the other through that transmutation process of becoming, right? That infinity symbol, as you see on my arm, maybe. The space between is the chrysalis. It's the goo. It's dark. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. And this is when most of the triggering happens when you are in the process of becoming, in the process of transformation, in the process of alchemy. And so for me, when somebody says, I'm healed, I never have a trigger, my life is beautiful and comfortable, to me, that says you're living in a cage because we're not meant to live comfortably. We're meant to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. We're meant to see uncertainty as an adventure, the trigger as a tripwire, signaling to us, hey, this is the actual thing that's in your way. But at the same time, because everything exists at the same time, you are healed, you are whole. And at the same time, you can still feel broken or unhealed because everything is true, everything exists. And I think this is the thing that most of us get on this journey get tripped up on. And every time you expand and go through another awakening, right? All an awakening is you becoming more aware of self. So as you expand, as your soul expands, as your light expands, you're going to see things that were always there that you didn't know was there before. The metaphor that I always use, if you're an OG, you've heard this before, but the analogy or the metaphor that spirit always uses is a dimmer switch. If you turn the light on and it's got a low, you're on low dim, and you clean the whole entire floor and counters and everything, and you're like, okay, the house is clean. And then you walk by and accidentally bump that light up just a little bit more. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, I just cleaned. Why is there dirt there? Why is that cobweb there? Why is that there? It was always there. You just couldn't see it before. There wasn't enough light. And so then you clean again. And then all of a sudden the light goes up a little bit more. And oh my God, where did this come from? And you clean it, right? Alchemize it, transmute it, and then the light goes up a little bit more. That is the process of evolution and ascension. Remember, ascension is the body moving from a carbon state, density, holding things that aren't serving your being, to crystalline and light, where you're allowing things and you are open and able to receive. You have space to create, where your soul is not ascending. Your soul is evolving. It's learning. It's expanding. Very different things. So I just wanted to come on and share that because I ended up removing the post. Not because of her. It There was something about it where I was like, I think this was the whole reason why I needed to write this post was to have this interaction with her because it was a mirror for me. It did show me a reflection of, do I still believe some of these things? And I was like, no. And I was like, I wonder how many people still believe this. Maybe this is a message that I need to share. It wasn't originally about that, but I had posted that because I had a lot of friends going through hard things and I had a lot of clients going through hard things. And the similar message was coming up. So I thought, well, let me share because I'm right there too in a different way. And this is what I'm doing to move through it. And it's funny because everything happens for my benefit. Everything happens for your benefit. Everything happens for a reason. And I feel like this was the real reason why. Because there's still this belief that we only have duality and it's not a trinity. There's still this belief that being healed means that you never have a trigger, that you never have anything that you trip over, that you have never have anything that's going to slow you down. And I think that that is a, a, a not a good belief to carry. And I also believe that some of the most powerful healers and coaches and channelers and mediums are the ones who have walked through the inferno and who are willing to walk through more infernos because it's the ones who walk through the inferno that carry the light. So I firmly believe that those of us that share transparently, that share authentically when we have a trigger and what it feels like for us and what we're doing to work through it, to alchemize it, is very helpful for people. And I think it makes you more powerful in that way. Now, I also do believe that if you feel like you need to continuously heal, that the universe is going to continuously give you things to heal. So there's nothing wrong with believing you're healed, but to believe that you're healed and that you're never going to have a trigger again doesn't even make sense to me because you wouldn't be expanding then. You wouldn't be expanding your light. You wouldn't be expanding your awareness. And so I was that coach very early on. I was like, oh, I can't, who am I? Who am I to share this? I'm still working through so many issues, but I could sure as hell share what I already worked through and what it felt like on the other side. I could take people with me on my journey. People could grow with me. And I have been to many therapists who went to school, studied all the things, passed their license, right? But had a charmed life, never experienced traumatic abuse or sexual assault or incest, never experienced being abandoned or rejected. So while they can intellectually understand, they'll never understand the visceral feeling and how it lives in the body and how it rules the nervous system and affects so much of your life beyond the logical mind. So I just want to be a voice that reaffirms that wherever you are on your journey and whatever you've already been through, it's helpful. It's serving to share that with the world in whatever way you choose. But you don't have to be perfect and you don't have to be trigger free and you don't have to know everything to be a beautiful light in this world to help people. So I don't know who needed to hear this today, but I definitely knew I needed to share it. I hope you guys have an amazing week.